Hi, everybody. Well, you may think cruising is expensive. The price of cruising has gone way up. It's really expensive. But I'm telling you right now, if you're, say, a retired couple or you can work, on the road on a cruise ship as long as you have internet, etc., and you were thinking on going to Europe or anything like that, I'm telling you, it's way better to take a cruise than it is to fly. So yeah, I have been looking at a bunch of flights lately because I have a lot of things booked for next year, and I have a big trip where I'm actually taking like 7 different flights in a course of a month to do all the different travel I'm doing next year. Not to mention all the other travel I just booked recently, and you'll see that coming up next month starting on my first trip. But I am flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted how expensive flying has become. And I checked my records and I looked back at my tickets and my pricing and etc. like this, and it has doubled, literally doubled in 2 years. And I'm shaking my head. Who gets to raise their prices double in 2 years? Cruise prices goes up. It hasn't doubled in 2 years. My $6,000 cruise is not $12,000 the next year, in 2 years. It might have gone up $1,000, maybe, but I was looking and I'm saying, now, if you're a retired couple and you're planning a trip over to Europe and you have time, why would you not book your trip around taking a transatlantic cruise to Europe instead of flying? And as an example, I looked up a Royal Caribbean cruise sailing in March to Barcelona, Spain, for example. So say you're going to Barcelona, or even if you're going into Rome or something, you can fly from Barcelona very cheaply much cheaper than transatlantic flight. So it's easy to get around. You can take planes, you can take trains, you can get around somehow. But say you're going to Barcelona, the cruise itself, including my balcony cabin for 2 people in Canadian dollars, came out to roughly $5,000. Okay, it's $5,000. Now, it includes my food for the whole week. It includes entertainment on board. I'm in a comfortable cabin. I'm at a leisurely place. I'm pretty comfortable on a cruise, right? For a trip. Now, contrast that with a flight. And I took a flight from the main hub. So I'm not even flying from a smaller city to the main hub and then to Barcelona. I'm flying from a main hub in Canada, Toronto, right? Toronto to Barcelona. And to compare, I would say if you're doing a long haul on a cruise ship, you'd probably want a balcony compared to an inside cabin. So I chose business class instead of first class and instead of economy. So kind of middle of the road business class. And I was stunned to find out a one-way ticket, that's right, a one-way ticket for 2 people was over $12,000. More than double, almost 150% more than the cost of the cruise. Now, I can work from home, like on the road. I can work from a computer. I could do my job doing that. A lot of people can do that now since the pandemic, because everything kind of switched over where everyone needed to work from home. So, and if you're, say, a retired couple who are just planning trips, why would you not try and plan your trip around a cruise going to the destination instead of flying to the destination? Because, well, now I got $7,000 extra to spend on my trip. And I'm kind of having a vacation to get to my vacation, if you know what I mean. No one can tell me, even in business class, that your 9-hour trip to Barcelona is a vacation experience, right? You're in a crowded airport. Yes, you have a lounge. There's a billion people in the lounge too, because they all have access. Somehow seems everybody can get into an airline's lounge these days. So it's super crowded, and then you line up to get on your plane. Even if you're first to get on the plane, you still have to wait for everybody, get on board. It is a hassle, right? Flying's a hassle. It's not a fun experience anymore. It's not a luxury experience anymore unless you're, say, in Emirates first class luxury cabin. It's like a built-in cabin that costs like $40,000 per flight. Then I might say that's part of a vacation. But just a regular business class seat flying over to Europe is not a vacation. It's a way to get there a little more comfortably, right? Well, definitely more comfort on a cruise. Definitely more leisurely on a cruise. And they're going to entertain you while you're doing it. They're going to feed you at multiple restaurants while you're doing it. And you don't have to, if you're going to compare cruise line food to airline food, there's no comparison. I'm sorry, there's absolutely no comparison, unfortunately. Again, unless you may be in one of like Japan Air's first class or Emirates first class, something along those lines. But wow, I actually expected there to be like a $2,000 difference maybe. But I looked back at 2 years ago at this exact flight when I flew to Barcelona. And my seats for 2 people came to $6,000. So it's doubled in 2 years. 2023 to 2025 doubled my airline fees. No wonder people are really cutting back now on a lot of their travel. And the farther you have to go, the more expensive it is. I mean, I'm flying to Rome next year and I booked economy flights because business class was out like $7,000 one way. There was no, I'm not paying $14,000 for a flight anymore. No, $7,000 return, I might have bit the bullet. Remember, we're talking Canadian folks, so let's say $4,800 in American. I might have bit the bullet for return flight, business class, maybe. But definitely not paying $14,000 for a return flight to Rome. Absolutely not. And I don't know how many other people would do it too. So yeah, if you see me flying anytime soon, you're probably seeing me in economy and in the cheapest possible seat I can find.